It is the most wonderful time of the year. In my opinion, fall. I love fall. I live in Texas, so we don't get a good fall down here. Not like in Michigan, where I'm from, but I love fall. I love spooky season. I am a Scorpio. My birthday is in October. I love just all things fall, sweater weather, the colors. It's my vibe. It's my vibe. So I am here, friends, to share with you some of my favorite fall eyeshadow palettes. The ones that I think of when I'm thinking of like the rich, like leaves turning colors and the reds and the warm browns and the greens. Like I have some goodies in front of me. These are my fall favorites. These are palettes that I think of when I think of fall that I'm going to be pulling out and using, and I'm going to share them with you. Now, there are some where I have demos for you. I'm going to show you a new look. I could not do a new look with all of these because there's like a lot of palettes here, but I also will insert some clips so that you can see the looks that I have created with each of these palettes, so that if these are not in your collection and you are looking to add them, you will be inspired to do so. You will have a good view of the color stories, and if you do have them and you just need some inspiration, I'm here for you. Let's dive in. We'll go ahead and just start with the eyeshadow palette that is on my eyes right now. It is from Unearthly Cosmetics, and this is the Sorcerous Smoke eyeshadow palette. Now, as I'm looking currently at the Unearthly site, it does say that this is sold out. However, it says notify me when available, which leads me to believe that it may not be gone forever, because this is one that came out last fall, if I'm not mistaken. It's $65, and I purchased this myself, but the fact that it came out last year and it's not gone from the site gives me hope that maybe they will be bringing it back this fall. So definitely click the notify me if you haven't picked this out. But y'all, look at this look. Look at the shimmer. Look at the glimmer. Look at the sparkle. One thing I have said time and time again is that indie does it best. Can y'all hear my family? My family lives here, y'all. Okay, I know. Shocking, my family lives here. I have been saying over and over again that indie does it best with shimmers. And these Unearthly shimmers are some of the most like multi-dimensional. They just, when you look at them, there are specks in there are shimmers, there are glitters. When you put it on the eye, there are shimmers, there are glimmers. Like I am going to twinkle, I am going to sparkle, but they're not chunks of glitter. I am not a chunks of glitter fan. It is not a pressed glitter. It is not chunky. They are so fine that they just give you this shimmer and this sparkle and this gorgeousness. And this is a color story that screams fall to me. You have the greens, you have this deep like purple blue, you have just rich, warm colors. The thing that I love about this palette when you look at it is it almost looks as if you have three quads here. So you have a green quad, you have a warm brown quad, and then you have like a deep smoky quad here. And so I really, really love that. I feel like if you are someone like me, who often, I feel like I'm not a creative person, so sometimes I need help when it comes to colorful palettes. I need help deciding, you know, like what colors I want to put together, but I feel like this makes it so easy. Now, of course, you can mix and match, you can use whatever you want, but having these quads makes it easy to where I can look at it and immediately say, okay, I want to use those 4 shades. Okay, I want to use those 4 shades. I want a green. I want a deep smoky. You have some versatility here. My one qualm about this palette, and this is a Kelly thing, is first of all, I always set my eyeshadow primer. And so there's no like neutral bone type of shade to set my eyeshadow primer with. And I don't have a shade that is light enough for an inner corner. All of these shimmers are a little bit too deep for me. Again, minor details. I can pull one from another palette, but I'm also not someone who typically mixes and matches palettes. I like to go in with one palette, have it be all encompassing, makes it easy to travel with, just makes it easy to like grab and go. You know what I mean? Again, I struggle with the creativity, but I love this one. The mattes are creamy and blendable and pigmented. You can go in with a light hand. You can really build it up. You have this deep shade in Soot. It's not a black, I don't think. It's more of like a deep, rich brown with a purple undertone, but you can really build that up, or I used it in the outer corner and I blended it out. I really, really love that you have that. You can use it as a liner, but then you also have a lighter shade like Vision to blend out this rich, warm brown. I really, really love this transfixed shade, this green shade. You do have have some like multi-chromes here, some shift, some dimension. Again, like I said, I love indie eyeshadows. When it comes to the shimmers, these are amazing. This is a palette that I definitely think of during the fall time, and I will be pulling it out more. This is one, if you are, I feel like indie eyeshadows are sometimes known for being colorful, which if you're a neutral lover like me can be a little bit intimidating. But if you are a neutral lover and you're really wanting to venture out there and get some grunge, this would be a great palette for that. And the next palette is the newest palette to my collection. It is the newest palette from Nomad Cosmetics. This is their Fuji 5 Lakes eyeshadow palette. I recently filmed a video where I was talking about getting invited to the BK birthday event that they had in Austin, Texas in August. I used this palette in there. I showcased the palette and I created a look, but I wanted to play some more. I did more of like a blue and gold look in my other video, and I really wanted to dive in and explore the fall color story in here. I wanted to explore the reds and the golds, and I really wanted to see if I could create like my traditional fall eye, and I feel like I was able to do that. Is this an eyeshadow that I look at it and immediately think fall? I mean, not really. The blues kind of throw it off a little bit, but if you take out the blues and you just look at the sides, I mean, you have these rich, warm reds, those rich yellows and golds. Nomad is a brand that I have come to love. They put two things together that I love oh so much. The fact that we have makeup, hello, eyeshadow, but also travel. Nomad is a traveling makeup brand, again, another indie brand, but all of their eyeshadows are based on a destination. So this particular palette, the Fuji 5 Lakes, is based out of Japan, and you can see like Mount Fuji there. And so it's Japan in the fall, which is why it became a fall palette. You have the beautiful richness of the red leaves and the orange hues, but then you mix it in with the blues of the mountain. I really, really love that Diamond Fuji shade. It's a great topper shade. It's one that I like to use in the inner corner. I feel like Nomad, since I've been trying them, has really improved their shimmer formula. Their shimmer formula used to not be my favorite. I've always loved their mattes. They've always been pigmented. They've always been blendable. They've never been patchy. But their shimmers, I found, used to be best applied with a finger, which is not my favorite. And I felt like I wasn't getting full opacity. But now I feel like they've really, really improved. We have this like golden ginkgo, which is a beautiful, beautiful gold shade, very pigmented, and almost has some specks in there. But I really love Pampas Grass for like a rose gold. It's very rich, very pigmented. And then you have this Fiery Maple, which is a very deep red. The blues are gorgeous. I really love the shimmers in this formula. I love the way that you can easily create a very neutral look if you went in with like the red Rowan, just as like a matte shade, and Pampas Grass, or even the golden ginkgo on the lid with yellow poplar. I'm probably butchering these names. I'm so sorry, but you can create a neutral look, or you can go deep and bold like I did in my other look where I used the blues and the golds. Like you can get rich, you can get deep shades, you can get just this beautiful assortment of looks out of this eyeshadow palette. And you know, it does scream fall. Yes, you have the blues in there, but it does very much scream fall. And one other thing I love about Nomad Cosmetics, on top of them being an indie brand and being a travel-based brand, my husband and I have an Instagram account, the Friends of Travel. Like, we love travel as well. I love makeup. But one thing that I really love about Nomad is that they do give back, and each of their eyeshadow palettes supports a cause that is near and dear to the location. And so this particular palette is a proud supporter of More Trees. And so if you go on their website, you can get some more information about that. They will donate a portion of that. This palette is available now. It is $44 on the Nomad Cosmetics website. You can read more information about More Trees if you're interested, but this is a great one for fall. It was a surprising fall color story to me, but one that I feel like I'm definitely going to love. Okay, so we've been in the indie world. We're gonna spend a lot of time in the indie world, but let's bring it mainstream for a minute with the Natasha Denona Golden palette. For some reason, I keep wanting to say the gold palette, I think because it's gold, but the Golden palette. First of all, I love Natasha Denona. I love the formula. I love the luxurious feel of the shimmers, the pigment, the blendability of the mattes. It is a formula that I know and love. This is the midi size for Natasha Denona, my favorite size out of her formula. She does have smaller palettes and she has larger palettes. These, I believe, are now $67, $68. I'll pop up a picture so that you can see. But this color story, there were people when this released in the summer, there were people who called it boring and basic. And you know what? You may feel that way, and that is okay for you to feel that way. For me, This is like jackpot of everything that I want. This shade right here in the corner, I don't know how you say it, Liko. This shade is a beautiful shade for me to set my primer. I can set in the crease, I can set the brow bone. This white shade in Aura is beautiful as the inner corner, and these just give me, it is a variety of browns, y'all. Browns and golds. You are going to get a brown and gold look with this one. But you know what? To me, that's a classic. I love the browns and golds. I think it's a beautiful look. It's easy to go to. And again, when I'm thinking of fall, I'm thinking of warm, rich browns. So if you are someone who is perhaps intimidated by eyeshadow color, these indie palettes that I'm talking about are very scary for you. Here's a mainstream, basic, beautiful, gold, traditional, one that I love oh so much and will most definitely be using. And I'm sorry to do this to you, but we are going to jump into a couple palettes that you can no longer get your hands on, but I want to remind you that my friend Angie collaborated with Odin's Eye last year for the Helaween collection. She did her first collab with Odin's Eye, the Hella palette, and then she came back and did a second collab with them where she brought out Helaween, which is 2 palettes. We are going to talk about both of them. There was a whole collection. I will have videos using all of these palettes and talking more about them down below. So if you want to hear more about that, like check down below. But these palettes, first of all, Odin's Eye has some of my favorite packaging of life. They're so creative, the vivid colors that they use, the design, like I always look forward to Odin's Eye packaging, and they definitely did not disappoint with this Helaween collection. Now, out of these 2 palettes, I have them both. I love them both. Thank you so much. Angie and Odin's Eye had these sent to me. But if I had to pick a favorite, and now I'm questioning myself, maybe. Okay, if I had to pick a favorite, I was gonna say the Trick or Treat palette is my favorite. These are definitely Halloween, spooky season, October vibes. But the thing that I love about the Trick or Treat palette is that you definitely have some neutrals in here. I mean, look at this whole first row. Like, beautiful row of neutrals. You can create a neutral look with that. I really love in the fall time, like a sunset eye. So using like the rich neutrals, but popping in some orange or some red, this deeper red shade, and creating like a sunset eye is probably like my favorite fall look. But then if you're thinking spooky season, you have bright, bright green here. You have this deeper Crypt Keeper shade down here for a little bit of like more of an olive type of green vibe, but then you have Poison and Witch's Brew for like these bright greens. I also really like that you have this kind of quad over here with these like burgundy shades and this bright, bright pop in Magic Potion. This is a palette that I loved playing with. I had so much fun with it. Again, I used this Wicked shade to set my primer. I could go in with this Mummy's Curse in the inner corner or Magic Potion for a little pop of color, but this one was a big hit for me. And now, I mean, I'm like, is it my favorite out of the 2? I mean, maybe. It's definitely warmer. It's the warmer version. Again, the artwork is amazing. But then as I'm telling you that, we also have the Little Ghost palette. And the Little Ghost palette, again, like look at this packaging. I absolutely love it. This one is stunning as well. This one on the inside has my favorite color. We have an assortment of purples here. If I'm gonna wear a color, typically it's green or purple. We have an assortment of purples here. We have some rich blue shades, but then again, you do have this bright yellow, which I love to use. You do have this row of orange down here, which is amazing. I really like this cobweb shade for the inner corner. It is a favorite for me, but you know what? I fell in love with this palette and this Boo shade right here. When I went to the Creators Friends event holiday party last year at Christmas time in Vegas, I looked at Angie's eyeshadow one day and I was like, oh my gosh, I love your eyeshadow. It looks amazing. Y'all, she did one and done with Boo. She just took Boo, put it all over the lid, good to go, and it looked stunning. So I fell in love with that shade. I love this shade Zombie. Purple is my favorite color. That's why it's like, I mean, but I love this one too. I love this one too. So either way, I know you can no longer get these, but this is a reminder, if you have them, pull them out, use them. They're amazing. They're stunning. I keep these, y'all, I'm not kidding you. I love the Odin's Eye packaging. I keep these out on my bookshelf on display so that I can look at them because I just think they're so beautiful. Okay, so I have more Nomad Cosmetics. Now, as I'm currently filming, it says, get ready for spooky season, returning soon, back from the dead. 2 eyeshadow palettes. I do not have the Royal Europe. I think that's the other one that's coming back. I'm pretty sure I'm going to purchase that when they launch it again. But I do have Ghost Town USA. And this is not currently available today as I am filming this, but it says it's coming back in 2 days. So this will be available by the time this video goes up. And y'all, this Ghost Town USA by Nomad, first of all, I was gonna say that I purchased this one because I wasn't on their PR list yet, but then when I was looking back at my video, actually a friend sent this to me. So thank you for that. I was going to purchase it. Look at the packaging, y'all. You have this like Ghost Town USA nighttime, daytime. What is this called? Something with a V? Either way, you have this like shift here on the packaging. Absolutely amazing. But then open it up, friends. This is like 3 different eyeshadow palettes in one. So you have the row of neutrals right here, right? And for each matte, you have a shimmer, which I love because the Nomad palettes are typically matte heavy, but these pair off. And so for each matte, you have a shimmer. You have your nude row. Then in the middle, you're getting a little creative here. We have like the grays, the silvers down to this rich purple down here, which I absolutely love. And then the green row right here. Just down this side, you have like this old gold, this rich green, these deeper shades down here. I love every look that I have created with this eyeshadow palette. I think that the quality is amazing. These shimmers definitely stand out. They sparkle, they shimmer, they shine. The mattes are super creamy and blendable. You can mix and match or you can use it. Like the way they have it set up is so easy to use because you just go into a matte and the shimmer next to it. But again, you have some neutral shades and then you have like this bright Ghost Train. You have this bright Calico California. You have this smoky quartz. But then on the days that you're feeling like neutral, Tombstone, roll, how do you say that? That Nevada shade? Either way, this is amazing. I've loved the looks that I've created with this. I'm so glad that they're bringing it back. And if you missed out on it the first time, y'all, you may want to consider. You may want to consider picking this one up because it's definitely very, very special. Before we get back into the land of indie, we will go mainstream again, and I'm sorry, you can no longer get this, and I don't know if they're gonna bring it back, but every spooky season, y'all, this is the Colourpop Hocus Pocus Gather Round Sisters, the original. Now I have to say, I have to admit, this is more of a nostalgic palette for me at the moment. I have not used this in quite some time, but I love the color story. I love the artwork. I love Hocus Pocus. My daughter loves Hocus Pocus. She kind of loves Max, you know what I mean? So super cute packaging. This may be some of my favorite packaging that Colourpop has ever come out with. And this color story speaks to fall and spooky. And I mean, like these shimmer shades where they're like mattes but shimmer mixed in, I love them. I love them. If you pack them on, you'll see the sparkle and shine, but if you use a fluffier blush brush, they'll kind of blend away. Like I said, I don't really reach for this palette too much anymore. It's just honestly like the nostalgia of Hocus Pocus. I remember when this launched, when this released several years ago, it sold out like in the blink of an eye, like immediately was sold out. And I remember it was very, very hard for people to get their hands on this, but then they did bring it back and they've done subsequent collabs since. It's done so well. This is one that my son is yelling. What does he say? Hey, hold on. I don't know what he's saying. Either way, I love this palette. I think of it every spooky season, every Halloween. I'm going to hold on to it. This is one that I don't think I would declutter just for like the pure nostalgia and the way that it sold out so quickly and kind of like what it means to the beauty community. I would hold on to this one. Okay, so listen, I just tried Fantasy Cosmetica for the first time. I got to meet the founder, the owner, the CEO, another indie makeup brand, Jordan, when I went to Austin for CMG weekend. And after meeting her, I was like, why have I not tried Fantasy Cosmetica? Sometimes I get, y'all, I'm a neutral lover, so sometimes I get scared, okay? Sometimes I do, I get scared. But one of the most popular palettes that Fantasy Cosmetica is known for is the Druid palette. I may be saying it wrong, Druid. Either way, this palette is definitely fall inspired, okay? Spooky season, fall inspired. You have such rich colors in here. From the rich, like very forest vibes, right? From the rich, like forest green, you have this like mossy green, you have the burgundies, these bright, bright shimmers, this balance shade, oh my gosh, the shiftiness, like this is just crazy, y'all. The pigment is crazy, the way that it applies is crazy, the looks that I created are crazy, and the fact that it is $38.99. That is crazy, because for indie shadows are typically more expensive because I feel like the quality is just so amazing and the way that they press them and get them together. This is more affordable. I think that the shimmers, again, are what make it stand out. The mattes are great. Mattes are great. I mean, like a matte is fine, right? But for me, these shimmers are just impeccable. They stand out. They're so beautiful. This is one where you're gonna get smoky grungy no matter what you try to do with this one. It's not going to be like a light neutral day to day. It's gonna be smoky vampy, and I'm here for it. And since we're speaking of Fantasy Cosmetica, I will just do these two back to back. When I was looking at the website and deciding what I wanted to try, I went with the Druid because it's so popular. It's like, I think, one of their best selling. But the one that spoke to me the most was the Fighter palette. The Fighter palette was one that it just stole my neutral loving heart, y'all. Now this is still grungy. It's still vampy, it's still deep, it's still rich, but we have more neutral vibes here. Again, if you just go straight down Valor, Victory, Marshall, it's gonna give you a beautiful neutral eye. If you're looking for more cool tone with Cavalier, Glory, Blade, Warrior, this Might shade, when I tell you, oh my gosh, if you're looking for like smoky, purple is my favorite color. It's this deep, smoky, rich purple with some gold flecks in there. It's absolutely amazing. The quality is amazing. If you're torn between the two, I mean, you can do what I did and just buy both. That's what I did. But if you are more of a neutral lover, this is the one that I feel like I am reaching for more, just because of the neutral shades in here and the way that I can kind of like mix and match, and it feels like a little bit safer to me. But I love the looks that I created with this one. Again, the blendability is amazing. The shadows are amazing. I just love it so much, and I'm a huge fan of Fantasy Cosmetica. I cannot wait to see what they're going to come out with next. One collection that stole my heart the second I saw the color story, and stole my heart even more when I brought her home, is from Lunar Beauty, and it is the Moonshroom collection. I feel like Lunar Beauty is another brand who does spectacular like packaging. Just this moon is raised, the detail on here, like you can feel the design. It's stunning, the colors, absolutely gorgeous. I love the packaging, but even more so, I love the quality of the Lunar Beauty shadows. The quality is just so amazing. The mattes are super creamy and blendable. Each of the shimmers have like little particles in them that make them so shiny and shifty and rich. The thing that's cool about this palette, first of all, it's gonna set you back $48, but you have 2 rows of mattes here. So the top row is your neutral, like every kind of shade of like mossy green neutral that you could want is right there. Then down on the bottom, if you're trying to get deeper, richer, you have this vibrant shade in Pixie Pop for a little something extra. And then the middle row of shimmers, and the shimmers are so different. You have everything from like a grungy green to like a bright gold, a purple, you have this like maroon shade. The Magic Mushroom looks very shifty. I love the variety here. I've loved the Lunar Beauty formula since I tried it. It's just such great quality. And the packaging, like you get this big mirror, but this packaging is sturdy, y'all. It's cardboard packaging. It doesn't feel like it's going to break. It is amazing. This is a favorite eyeshadow for me. I'm very excited to pull this out and use it more. This is not one that has gotten as much use as like the Full Fantasy collab or the Nude Prism collab, but this is one where instantly I fell in love with the color story. I loved the richness. Like I literally feel like I'm in a forest right now. I feel like I'm in a forest, but I love this bright pop that they have here. I love the golds, and I've loved every look that I've created with it. This has been one where even when I'm not filming, I find myself gravitating toward it and wanting to use it just for the richness of these shades. So this is one where I created another look to show you, but I really think that you should go back and watch my original video and watch me create some looks with this one, because this could be one that I feel like might be under the radar. Like maybe people wouldn't be quite as drawn to it for whatever reason, but for me, this is a spectacular palette. The color story is amazing, and you can get neutral mixed with color. It's almost like the best of both worlds. And again, the packaging is absolutely stunning. It's durable, it's sturdy, and I love this one. So I'm gonna be using this one for sure. Last but not least, one that is no longer available, and I'm very, very disappointed about that, and I wish it was available for you, but it's not, but I still think of it every fall, is the Nomad Cosmetics Hudson Valley palette. I love this palette. I would argue that this is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Nomad Cosmetics palette. I love what they did here with, again, this is like two-sided, right? The shimmers are in the middle, but they break up the two sides. You have this rich, warm, like very fall, I'm going to a cider mill, I'm going apple picking, like very beautiful, right? Cover that up, and on the other side, it's cool. It's like a little bit more on the grungy side and more like skeleton graveyard vibes. And then these three shimmer shades. The only thing that I would do different, because I am a shimmer girl, is like add some more shimmers in there. But I love the looks that I've created with this one. I tend to head more to the warmer side and create more of that sunset eye with the richness of the warm browns and the reds. This is a palette that I think of time and time again when I am thinking of like fall looks and fall eyeshadows and falling leaves. I think of this one time and time again. So I'm sad that it's not around this fall season. I love this palette. I'm going to continue reaching with it and playing with it. If you have it, I suggest you bring it out because I think it's a great one. But I'm sorry to those of you who don't have it because you can't get it. But it's lovely, isn't it? Like, look at it. It's a great fall palette. That's it, y'all. I've been filming for a while. I did some speed reviews. We've talked about some fall palettes. Tomorrow's Labor Day. I'm gonna film some more. I'm gonna try and get my husband to film that Q&A with me. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I would love to know down below your favorite fall palettes. I think I'm gonna create a playlist because this is typically a video that I do every year. So I'll put a playlist together. If you want to binge and kind of see across the years, are there any similarities? I don't go back and look and try to like pick new palettes. I just think of like in the moment, like these are my fall favorites and my collection is ever revolving, right? Like I'm getting more, I'm putting some out there. So these are my current favorites, my current fall favorites. I would love to know your thoughts down below. What are some of your favorite eyeshadow palettes that you are going to be pulling out for fall? Let me know. But I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired. My kids yelling out there, singing the ABCs. I'm gonna go see what they're doing. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe before you go. That way I can see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.